Welcome back to Mindset Mondays. Today we're going to talk about another component of mindset training, and that is mental agility. Mental agility is the ability to see things in different ways, and this is especially important as a skill to develop when we are in the middle of things that are turbulent or things that are uncertain. And that certainly describes what we've experienced for the last couple of years and what we're expecting for the year ahead. So developing this idea of mental agility, developing the skills of mental agility is a really important way to be able to show up no matter what happens for yourself, for your family, and for your team and your organization. So we're going to practice something today that is something that we can do as a part of our journey line exercise, something you may be familiar with through the Grit Factor, but also something that we can use to challenge any assumptions that we might be making in the day-to-day. So I'm going to ask you to come with me on this journey to discover one particular thing, pull out one particular assumption or idea that is holding you back. Now, this may take a little bit of interrogation because these assumptions or these ideas are things that we may have been holding inside for a very long time and just taken for granted. But do a little bit of an interrogation on your own mind, your own thought patterns, and identify at least one of those thought patterns that is holding you back. If you want, you can pause the video, let yourself think a little bit, maybe write down a few notes. What one assumption can you pick out right now that is an assumption or a thought pattern that is somehow holding you back, trapping you into a pattern of negative thinking or even negative behavior? It could be keeping you stuck and keeping you from any momentum. It could be keeping you stuck and unable to take a step forward. Identify whatever that thought pattern is or that assumption, and then write that down. I'll wait. Now, a key concept of mental agility is to start with the growth mindset, which is to say that you know that you can change your mind. You can change the way that you think. You can change your thought patterns. There's a huge degree of understanding your own agency in this process. And as you know, no matter what else happens in the world this year, whatever happens in your life this year or to your job this year, whatever happens, you have complete control over how it is that you react to that one thing or those many things. So that's where we have to believe that we have the ability and we have the agency to change these thought patterns that may be holding us back. So now that you've identified that pattern or that thought or that assumption that is in somehow holding you back from experiencing the life that you are meant to live, the life that you're meant to be contributing in and connecting in and forming relationships in, creating in. Whatever that assumption is, we're going to challenge that assumption right now. Now, this is the first part of really doing the hard work, but you've written down that assumption that's holding you back. And now I want you to write down another sentence. And here's how you start that second sentence. Another way to think about this is. So start the second sentence with those words. Another way to think about this is. I'll wait. What did you come up with? Now, if you're feeling particularly stuck, this might be a difficult thing that you have to work on over a little bit of time. Maybe go for a walk, maybe take a shower, do one of those things that makes your best ideas come to you. What's another way to think of that difficult assumption that you have, or that sticky sort of a feeling or thought pattern that is really keeping you from living and performing to your best? Whatever that is, and you can do this multiple times with multiple thoughts, and in fact you should, ask yourself, another way to think about this is. Now, there's a second part of this exercise that I think is really kind of a lot of fun. And I know that I fall prey all the time to thinking, oh, I have to cut out sweets this week, or I have to eat healthily, or gosh, I really have to do this yoga workout, or my knee is never going to be the same. And those are the kinds of things that I might not articulate always verbally, but I'm thinking and I'm frustrated because I'm lacking time, or I don't feel like I'm really engaged in that. So whenever you find yourself thinking to yourself, and force yourself to articulate this so that you can, again, really interrogate this. I have to do this. I have to go to school. I have to finish my class. I have to finish my homework. We're going to change that sentence to, I get to. I am so lucky to be able to eat healthily. I am so lucky to be able to take time to do yoga, to be able to work on an injured knee. I am so lucky to be able to go to school. You're really challenging your assumption in a more specific way here. You're saying instead of a requirement, an obligation, something that feels onerous or heavy, that there's really an element of incredible opportunity in that. And it's asking your mind to start to think about things in a different way. So let's sum up. We're talking today about the skill of mental agility, which is absolutely critical to be able to navigate turbulent times, difficult times, uncertain times, both for yourself, as well as those you love, as well as those you work with and work for. So yourself, your family, your organization. This is a critical skill of mental agility. This relatively simple practice, when practiced consistently, can help to build agile thinking, which is to say, it can help you to understand that there are different ways to think of a problem, especially when you're able to identify that a problem has become entrenched as a negative thought pattern or as an assumption that's holding you back. So you'll practice two different things in order to start to train your brain to think another way, to think more agilely, right? And that is to write down your negative assumption and then start a second sentence with another way to think about this might be, or another way to think about this is. And then for any of those things that you're feeling like you have to do, that you're really frustrated with the obligation of doing, say, I get to do this. Not I have to do this, but I get to do this. I would love to hear how these two different techniques work for you as your Mindset Monday in our second of 8 weeks. I'll see you on the other side and see you next week, hopefully with your comments about how this worked for you. As always, remember to subscribe and to share with a friend. Thanks for joining me today.